Apparently I've been in a situationship, you know, I'm like, yes, you have been and you need to dump that. I get shy, but then I'm like, but being shy doesn't get me the content I want, you know, it doesn't get me the brand sponsorships.
Capitalism.
Yeah, I do videos about am I better than everyone, am I special, but like all I want is just to like share experiences with people, you know, it's nice when you know that like people are just like you know, you're just like other people.
Hello people and welcome to another episode of Dive Through. Today I am with
Rama Lauw.
Rama Lauw. And I will let him introduce himself. Who are you? Why are you here?
I am Rama Lauw, and yes, I am better than everyone.
What do you do? What do you do? Let me ask that question then.
I do everything successfully, and I am currently unemployed. No, I'm a content creator. So according to my parents, that's not a real job, but I'm a content creator. I make mostly content about mental health and traveling and like just about, you know, the ups and downs of being in your 20s.
And it's actually interesting, and like what got me to reach out to you was like you're the only Indonesian content creator in Europe that I know that makes content in like English, so like high five to that. Yay. Anyway. Let's talk a bit more about your content. Like, okay. How did you start making content? Like, were you always into video making, or was it like, boom, and then viral? You know?
I promise I wouldn't cry. Just a lot of people I started making videos during COVID. I have always been interested. Like, I wanted to make YouTube videos, but I just never had the discipline and like the motivation to actually do it. I was lazy. So when short form like came around, you know, I was just like, this is perfect. You know, and like shorter and I don't know. It was just like something to kill time during lockdown. I never expected to like be able to do this now like full time. But I'm glad that that this is my life now. Yeah.
So what was your first viral video that really took off?
On an especially gloomy afternoon and evening in Germany. I used to live in Germany when I started making videos. I was just really sad, and then I saw an audio, like Britney Spears audio, you know, like my loneliness is killing me. Because I had been living in Germany for months, but like I couldn't do anything because everything was closed. So I was like, people, like, this is my experience, like give me something to look forward to, you know. What do you like the most about Germany, you know, like what can I look forward to when all of this is over, like the lockdown. And then that video got like 200,000 views, something like that, which at the time I was like, oh my god, I'm famous, like Justin Bieber who, you know. I don't know. And then I just started like I don't know, it was just fun. I was like, oh my god, I can interact with all these people online. So I just started making more videos. In the beginning it's maybe more about like Germany or like I don't know, like COVID stuff, but then I don't know, it got to the point where people thought this like super depressed guy and anxious, and they were right. But like, and maybe it's legit, but for me, I just like, this is not what I want people to think of me. So then I was like, what if I just make like funny videos, things I genuinely think are funny. And that's when I started making the better than everyone videos, the free 99 commercials, you know, stuff that I think are funny. And then that's when my account really started taking off. And yeah, it's a really long answer, but that's how I started, and now I just do whatever I want.
No, but that's a really good answer. What about like, what's your most viral video up to now? I think like, for me, when you start showing up on my page, it's for your capitalism videos.
Yeah. Capitalism, am I right? I'm sipping my Starbucks. Yeah, I think my most successful series, for sure, the free 99, but my most successful video would be the capitalism video. It's not my highest viewed video. Like I had like a random video, like a stitch that like got a higher view, but like definitely it made the most impact. I think most people know me from that. Specifically, I think that's my one single like most successful video to date.
Why do you think your videos are so relatable to a lot of people?
No, I think I'm just honest, honestly. I think it's like what I'm saying is not brand new, you know, it's shared experiences. I'm not coming up with stuff, you know, I'm just like speaking out the experiences that like a lot of people my age are living through, you know. Like with capitalism, I think we're just all tired, you know, like being in the system where like there's so much expectation but like so little that's given to us. Sometimes it feels like that, you know, like where like we cannot just be, we have to always do, you know, and like we can't even relax without stressing, you know. I get more stressed when I'm relaxing, you know, stress laxing. I did a video about that too, check that out. But I'm just honest about it. I think in the age of social media, like you want to portray like a, you know, that you slay all the time, that like life is great, you know, which is good, you know. There's some I don't know. There's good things about like escapism as well. But I think why people relate to my content is that I'm honest. You know what I feel, I share. I don't shy away from sensitive topics. I don't shy away from not looking good, from like struggling. And it's not something to be embarrassed about. You know, everyone struggles. And like if you're all just a little more honest, if we talk about it more, then maybe we wouldn't feel so alone. And yeah, we'd feel better about ourselves.
I think people also share your videos a lot because like relatable, and then share it to their friends. And I think that's also how your video spreads a lot. What do you think is your personal favorite video that might not have gotten so many views, but you're so proud of it, or you really like it?
Honestly, the capitalism video is one of them. You know, I didn't think it would go viral, to be honest. Like when I made it, because I had made part 1, we did pretty well, but part 2 was the video that really, went viral. It's the sequel, but I like it. You know, I feel like this is it in 1 minute. This is how I feel. This is how the world makes me feel. So I really like it. But I would say my personal favorite, maybe like a recent favorite. Yeah, I don't know of all time. I did one about like being kidnapped as a main character.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
I like that. I thought that was funny. You know. Or like recently, like a couple of days ago, I did one about me seeing the claw machine, and I get super excited. You know, people don't know me for that. You know, it's like it's not as viral as some other videos, but it's just, I don't know. It's like a specific experience that I feel like people comment. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm like that too." You know, it's just always so happy when you feel like, "Oh my God, am I the only one?" But you're not. Yeah, I do videos about am I better than everyone? Am I special? But like I actually. All I want is just to like share experiences with people, you know. It's nice when you know that like people are just like you know, you're just like other people.
Hashtag relatable. So I'm curious, like how's your workflow like when you make content? Like from the ideation, do you make scripts or filming? How is it?
One take, out of nothing, like alchemy, you know. No, I mean I plan all my videos. Most of them, like 95% I plan. I write scripts, especially the free 99. Those videos, especially, you know, with scripts, it's like basically I write an entire essay and then like I would cross out some stuff. You know, like I'll build a narrative around it, you know, because I want it to make sense. I want the 1 minute to like explain a concept. Because a lot of times also people comment, they're like, oh, this is how I've been feeling. I just couldn't name it. You know, apparently I've been in a situationship. You know, I'm like, yes, you have been and you need to dump that. So yeah, so what was the question?
Your workflow.
So I had to write it down. You know, I had to make sure it makes sense. Yeah, and then I film, and then sometimes during filming, you know, inspiration strikes. So I would add stuff. And then in post, I build a narrative as well. It depends on the type of video, but I would say most of my videos are scripted.
How long does it take for you to make one video normally?
It depends. Like some videos can take like hours to like a whole day, and some videos literally. Sometimes I would just say something funny to a friend, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to make that into a video. Then like 5 minutes. But so it could range from 5 minutes to like 12 hours.
Wow, for a 1 minute video.
Yeah, but if it's 1 minute, it wouldn't be 5 minutes. You know, like the 5 minute process is for like a 20-second video or something. You know, where you just say something. Yeah. But yeah, usually like on average, I would say maybe a couple hours. Yeah.
And I see that you sometimes film in public, and you have your signature laughs and the Shakira thing at the end. How do you feel when you like? Aren't you shy when doing that?
I am really shy. I'm a really
shy person. Oh my God.
I don't know. I mean, it's my content doesn't hurt anyone. You know, sometimes you just think like it's 5 seconds. Sometimes you feel like there's like this spotlight syndrome. Next video. But you know, like you feel like everyone's paying attention to you, but I'm just me, you know. Like people walking on the street, they're not paying attention to me. Like obviously, if I'm laughing like a crazy person, you know, maybe they would look at me, but then they go on with their days, you know. And like I get shy, but then I'm like, well, but being shy doesn't get me the content I want, you know. It doesn't get me the brand sponsorships. So you know what I mean? Like just eat the shame, you know, eat the rich.
Can you do one of your weird laughs?
That's not that funny.
And that's how he shies away afterwards. But like like numbers wise, like for the people who don't know you, you have how many
300 million and growing. It's more than the population of Indonesia. No, I have on what platform?
Instagram, TikTok.
I think I have like 520 something thousand, 25,000 on Instagram. And I have on TikTok maybe like closer to 600,000. Yeah.
Do you get recognized by people? Like, how is that?
Yeah, honestly, when I was walking in Hollywood, like Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, you know, they all wanted a piece of me. Like, Yeah, no. Yeah, I do get recognized sometimes. Yeah, yeah. I mean, in Indonesia, so like I was traveling in Asia. Yeah, and even in Thailand, you know, like I mean, my followers, like they travel as well. You know, I make some travel content, so it's people who like travel. Well, in Thailand, for example, it was. I don't think it was a Thai person who recognized me. I forgot where they were from. They were from Europe, somewhere in Europe. But like, I get recognized. I think these days more frequently than before. Yeah, because like I think also on Instagram I'm doing a lot better. You know, I think people recognize more from Instagram. Yeah,
that's really interesting. Now I kind of want to know more about your background. Like, what did you study before? Like, or how did you go to Germany? You were in the US before. How did that happen?
Yeah, I did my undergrad, bachelor's degree in the US. I moved there when I was 16. I started college pretty young. I studied film. I know, like, don't complain about my filming.
He knows what he's doing. He studied this.
Yeah, one day if you watch my videos like this is not very good, just know that I know better than you. No, I studied film, but more like on the producing side, like writing. I like writing. That's why maybe like I write my scripts. You know, it's like I enjoy the process as well when I can tell a narrative in like 1 minute. You know, I don't necessarily like writing movies and stuff. Like if I were gonna write, always it was gonna be for a TV show because I don't like long form. And my dream was to write a comedy show. You know, I wanted to write sitcoms. And hopefully maybe that's not a pipe dream and maybe, you know, that's still in store for me in the future. But yeah, I just love, you know, like watching comedy. It's like an escape, you know, like 30 minutes of escape. Now I'm providing 1 minute of escape for you, hopefully every day. So that's what I studied. And then I couldn't get a job, you know. My parents were right. Also, I had to get an office job. A lot of my friends, they just moved to LA. Like I don't know, they do like side jobs, like they wait tables or something while they PA, like help like film movie sets on the weekends or something, and then they get their break. But like I was not allowed to do that because of my visa. You know, it was just hard, so I decided to like work in social media. But then, you know, I just couldn't get my work visa in the US. I didn't want to move back to Indonesia, so I decided to do my master's. But the US would have been too expensive, so I chose Germany. Because I had some friends who did their bachelor's degree here. It's, you know, the location is Central Europe. Like I like to travel. I wanted to travel more. It just seemed like a good opportunity. You could work off campus in Germany, so I could like provide for myself. Yeah, at the time seemed like a good idea. Was it a mistake? No, kidding. It wasn't.
Yeah, but then you started your whole content empire in Germany. So
empire. Like
yeah, I mean, you have what, over 1 million people? That's like more than the population of a lot of cities. So
yes. Next stop, population of Mexico City.
Mexico City.
20 million something. I don't know.
That's very specific, but okay, I'll support you for that
Thank
as well. You speak Spanish a little bit of it.
Sí.
You travel a lot as well. Do you have a favorite city?
Wuppertal.
That's the most random thing you can say. Because of the hanging bun thing.
Yeah, it's so cool. I don't know. It's such a, people always ask me this as well. I'm like, it's so hard, you know, like there's so many different things I like about traveling, you know, food, like scenery, like the people, like there's so many different elements, different things, you know, I can't just choose one because, you know, maybe my favorite view was somewhere else, but then I like the food better somewhere else, you know, like the whole experience. I don't know, but I would say like the places I haven't gotten tired of that I've been to multiple times, I really like Greece and Italy, like every summer I just want to go back, you know, but like they're not necessarily my favorite, you know, because I've had better experiences somewhere else in certain aspects, you know. But like I would say maybe I just like any place with like the beach, you know, like warm weather and yeah, ESCÁNDALO places.
I'm gonna ask you a speed round of questions, so it's just this or that. I'm gonna give you two questions. Two questions. I'm gonna give you two options, and then you can choose one of them. Okay?
Do I explain?
No. It's just like quick lightning round. Okay? Rice or bread?
Rice.
Noodles or pasta?
Noodles.
Sweet or savory?
Savory.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Gifts or compliments?
Both.
Okay. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Movies or music?
I studied film.
I studied film.
Music.
4 arms or 4 legs?
Neither. Can I say neither?
No.
4 arms. Think of what I can do with 4 arms.
1 million euros or 1 million fans?
1 million euros.
Capitalism. Shakira
I
or
can buy those.
Shakira or Beyonce?
Shakira.
Okay. Now to wrap up this video, what are your plans for future content? Like, where do you see yourself?
I see myself performing with Taylor Swift, Harry Styles, Lizzo. I don't know, I want to branch out. Like, you know, like, I think what I don't want, I like making content, but what I don't want is to be stuck in the same place, making the same content for years. You know, I want to be able to evolve with the people who watch me, with the new people, with the world. You know, like, what interests me now might still interest me in 5 years, but maybe there's other things, you know, because like at the end of the day, I don't really make lifestyle content. I make videos about how I see the world, my perspective, you know, and what I want is to be able to grow and like learn from my videos. So when I make these videos, I learn a lot from you, from people who comment, from people who share their stories. You know, because when I do this content, I'm sharing a little bit of myself, and I think people feel inspired to share about themselves. As for now, if I can continue like learning and growing, I would like to keep doing this. Yeah, there's always more to explore. Like with YouTube, you know, maybe I want to start doing it. Maybe writing more, writing bigger projects, like bigger videos. I'm interested in traveling, like exploring other cultures. So maybe I want to do more of that, you know, longer videos about like things I find interesting in the world. And it doesn't have to be always just sarcastic or like about me complaining, even though I do love complaining. But, you know, I want to be able to like share with people things that I find interesting, that I think people would find interesting too. You know.
That's very nice. Okay, and a closing remark for all the viewers watching. You can also promote yourself. You can say whatever you want.
If you don't like me, stay silent. If you like me, you can leave really nice comments.
And where can people find you?
People can find me walking the streets of Valencia. Find me, stalk me in real life now. My closing remark is, don't be afraid to share your escándalo, to be amazing, and don't let people dim your craziness and the Shakira in you.
That's perfect.
That's it.
That's perfect. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Bye.